COVID-19 is a coronavirus, which implies almost no to the vast majority who don't work in virology or immunology. A coronavirus is a gathering of infections that can contaminate warm-blooded animals and birds. 1. In people, they can cause respiratory tract diseases, a considerable lot of which can be treated with over-the-counter drug. The supposed basic cold is the after-effect of a coronavirus, and keeping in mind that most are surely known and once in a while in excess of a bother, some can be deadly. COVID-19 alludes to the episode of the illness, which is separated as coronavirus disease 2019. The infection itself additionally has a name, yet it's somewhat of a significant piece: severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. Some portion of that abbreviation might be natural, seeing as the world previously experienced a comparative flare-up of SARS in 2003. 2. The infections are connected, and it wouldn't be not feasible to call this new flare-up SARS 2.0. 3. However, you likely won't hear any expert virologists state that in the media. In any case, COVID-19 is a coronavirus, and it is spreading, yet that is not a reason to get excited. Rather, it's a reason to get ready and ensure ourselves similarly we do when it's cold and influenza season. It's notable that the infection was first found in Wuhan, China, yet it's not completely seen precisely where it began. COVID-19 is likely a zoonotic infection, which implies it very well may be transmitted among creatures and individuals. This has driven analysts to search for creatures that may have initially conveyed the sickness. There are a great deal of likenesses between COVID-19 and two bat-inferred strains of beta coronavirus, which implies they are likely related. Since the infections share about 96% of similar qualities, it was at first accepted that bats were the wellspring of the flare-up, which was pinpointed to the Hunan seafood market, where outlandish creatures are sold. As time went on, and more research was conducted, Chinese researchers were able to determine that COVID-19 shared 99% of the same genetic information as a similar virus that infects pangolins. This suggested that pangolins may have been an intermediary host for the virus, but the research wasn't officially published, and much of the analysis remains unconfirmed. While determining the precise origin might help virologists better understand COVID-19, doing so isn't entirely necessary in combating the spread of the disease, now that it's been released into the human population. Since the primary day the world found out about the Wuhan coronavirus, its dread spreading started to rise. How was it transmitted, and what should be possible to restrict its transmission? Individuals have consistently dreaded Ebola, however that is far harder to get than something like a coronavirus, and it's everything about what it contaminates and how it is transmitted. COVID-19 causes a respiratory contamination, and it's through an individual's breath that it spreads the most effortless. There are two known methods by which the infection spreads: individual to individual and through contact with contaminated surfaces. In an individual to individual circumstance, the infection can be spread through close contact, which is commonly viewed as a separation of 6 feet. The manner in which an individual can pass it on is through respiratory beads, which are created when an individual hacks or wheezes. Covering one's mouth when this happens mitigates the spread of the sickness, and contaminated individuals should wear a face mask to decrease the danger of transmitting it to another person. Be that as it may, if it's not too much trouble, regard the Surgeon General's warning. 6. And don't purchase a veil except if you need one. Probably the greatest issue with recognizing COVID-19 of every patient is that it presents a lot of like the normal virus. To battle this, analysts over the globe have been scrambling to think of an approach to test for the nearness of the infection, and this has brought about a few distinctive testing strategies. Perhaps the most ideal approaches to check for the infection isn't to check whether you can discover the infection in an individual's body, it's to discover the antibodies the body produces to battle the contamination. The tests that search for antibodies are called serological tests. 8. And a firm in Singapore may have consummated a methods for directing this kind of test to discover COVID-19. Neutralizer tests are most likely the quickest and least demanding method for identifying the nearness of COVID-19, yet it isn't the main way. There are tests at present being utilized the world over, which search for the infection's hereditary data in an individual's spit, mouth, nose, and butt. These tests utilize the polymerase chain response (PCR) technique, which is a procedure in subatomic science that quickly creates billions of duplicates of DNA for study. While these tests can recognize the nearness of COVID-19, they can't distinguish individuals who were tainted and at last freed from it.